All right, you guys, welcome to the podcast, Life It's Better with a Bow, powered by Protect. We're out here in the Green Mountain State, beautiful state of Vermont, and it's been an awesome event out here. The weather has mostly cooperated. The bears haven't necessarily cooperated. They've taken out a couple targets, but we have the privilege today of sitting down with Evan Williams of Hoyt, the co-host of the Hoyt hunting podcast, or just Hoyt podcast?
Hoyt bow hunting, yeah, because we have a target one as well.
Yeah,
Steve's doing
Hoyt bow hunting podcast. So, how have you liked it out here in Vermont? You weren't here last year, were you?
No, I didn't. This is the first year I'm doing pretty much the entire series.
Yeah.
So I'll miss South Dakota, and then I'll miss Michigan, with two other events I've got going on, but.
South Dakota is an awesome event.
I know, and I really wanted to hit that one this year, but
that is a cool event.
We've got Cam's Lift, Run, Shoot event.
Yeah.
And then I'm leaving Seven Springs next week, a day early, to head up to meet one of our Canadian teams.
Oh, nice.
And do some work with them, and then was fortunate enough to get a bear hunt on the back end of that. So.
Well, that does not suck.
Nope, it's going to be good.
That's awesome. So it's a rifle hunt, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, you know it.
So, hey, real quick, I wanted to sit down with Hoyt. You guys have been a partner of ours for quite a few years. Of course, typically I deal with Jeremy on that end. Mm-hmm. But we've never really sat down and talked anything Hoyt. And so I think it's something that we need to do.
I'm here for you.
So why don't you, how long's Hoyt been around?
We are 93 years this year. So we were established in 1931.
Wow.
That's when we started in a little tiny garage in St. Louis, Missouri.
In Missouri.
Missouri. Yep.
When did they move to Utah then?
I believe the move was finalized in 81.
Oh, okay.
So the purchase, the acquisition happened in 1980. It was Jazz D Easton Corporation is when Jazz D merged with Hoyt.
Okay.
And then we moved out to Salt Lake, and again, I'm pretty sure
was
it was
Easton
finalized.
Already out here then?
Yep. Easton
okay.
was founded out here in Salt Lake, and moved us to be part of that corporation together.
Right.
So
yeah, because your buildings are right next to each other, right?
Yep. Share a back parking lot. So.
Yeah. That's awesome. So how long have you been at Hoyt?
September is going to be 9 years.
9 years.
Yep.
Good for you.
Yep. And 10 years prior was in two different shops in Colorado Springs and Pueblo.
Gotcha. So archery's been your life.
It has been, especially the last 20 years, which is funny because what a lot of people don't realize is my background is actually competitive rifle shooting.
Oh, nice.
So graduating from high school had a couple different athletic scholarships to Division I schools for competitive Olympic rifle shooting.
Oh, that's cool.
And then had the opportunity after graduation to move to Colorado Springs and start training with the Olympic team at the center there in Colorado Springs, and wasn't a athlete that was on facility, so I was a non-resident facility use athlete. So I had to find an apartment to rent and things to do to pay the bills, and started working at the local archery pro shop. And
oh, that's cool.
And now we're
here
sitting down almost 20 years later in Vermont. So.
That's right, working for Hoyt.
Yep.
One of the largest bow manufacturers.
Yep.
That's out there in this, right?
A lot of guys are here. They know the top three, and we're proud to be a member of that very small and elite group of manufacturers.
The first time I ever shot a Hoyt was the Hoyt Tricon. It was Alan Bullen, actually.
Yeah. Was it Tricon or the XL?
No,
you
Tricon.
Guy? Okay, you like the shorters?
Well, I mean, I'm shorter. Look at me.
And I say short. That bow in that series was a 33 and a 36 axle.
Yeah,
so
and it was 33 for sure.
Short back in those days was still 33.
Yeah, well, I had won a shotgun.
Okay.
At a mule deer banquet, maybe something, and Alan was with me, and he's like, "Dude, trade that in for a bow," because I'd been guiding Alan on some archery hunts, and I was like, "Oh, I've never done that. All right." I mean, I'd shot some bows, but I was not an archery hunter per se back then.
Yeah.
And so I did. That was it.
Yeah.
I don't know when Tricon was, but 20 years ago or so.
Yeah, 75th anniversary. So we're 18 years out of that now.
So there you go. 05.
I think it was 05, 06.
Yeah, I would have
in
said
that
05 because I met him in 05, and I believe I won it that fall or late summer probably. And so had the Hoyt Tricon, and then Carbon Spider maybe was that one?
Was the next one? Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
That was
I had that.
couple series in that, or generational engineering changes through that series.
Yeah. So it was good. I really liked it. But you can't help but hear a lot about Hoyt. So tell us about this year. What do we got rocking?
Honestly, this is one of those years for us where engineering-wise, we kind of took a step back, and I've been working with a lot of dealers and kind of what they're hearing from consumers, and really what is the consumer wanting? What's that consumer experience at 6 feet? Because a lot of guys, they're testing the bows.
Right.
They're not shooting 20 yards. They're not up at an event like this where, hey, there's an 86-yard target up there. Why don't you go fling an arrow with no sights on it, right?
Yep.
So it's, winning that battle at 6 feet was extremely critical and crucial in our engineering and design process. So we wanted a smoother draw cycle, wanted to reduce noise, vibration, and hand shock especially, and win that battle right there in that.
Does the battle at 6 feet translate to your 86-yard shot then?
I believe it does. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Because if you're comfortable with no sights on, just here's a whisker biscuit and a release. Let's shoot this right here and see how it feels.
Yeah.
Because that's going to tell you your connection to the bow, and really that's going to come down to the grip and the draw cycle.
Yeah.
So every bow is going to have its own personality, just like guys. And if it talks to you, man, that's the one that you're going to want. And so getting it to talk with you at 6 feet really is a critical part of the process. Because from there, it's just sense. How do I want the bow to balance? How do I want it to react on the shot?
Yeah.
Am I a guy that wants a little bit more top heavy, so I'm going to put more weight out front so it has that natural top-down roll? Do I like it to be more vertical, so I'm going to put a little bit more back weight to keep it vertical through that? Or, I talked to one guy this weekend that actually likes the top to come back to him. So we actually have more back weight on his and less up front, so that when that shot breaks, the front of his bow actually lifts with that stabilizer and the top cam comes back towards him a little bit.
Interesting.
So it's extremely versatile, customizable, and again, every individual and bow has a personality, and it's just being able to match those up.
What do you shoot?
So I'm running the Alpha X, the 33 axle.
Okay.
I've got a 28.25-inch draw, and that's the unique thing with our cams this year is we have
you can do quarter-inch
draw.
Yeah, that's huge.
So rather than having to tweak a cable here or there or tweak a string to make it fit the way I want to, 28.5 was just a gnat long, and so we'll take that quarter off of it and just perfect.
Dude, that's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yep.
What are the bows this year?
So the aluminum series is the Alpha X, and
Okay.
it comes in a 30 axle, and it's a 25 to 30-inch draw length range, and we do that in 3 different modules. And then we have the 33 axle, which is a 26 to 31 draw length option. And then on the carbon side, we have the RX-8, which is your 30-inch, and then we have the RX-8 Ultra, which is a 34 axle. And that one goes from 27 to 32 inches in draw length range.
Is that your, I guess 32 is your longest draw you guys have?
We do have the High Line.
Oh,
Yep.
And you've had the High Line for a while, because that's what I got.
Yep.
One of the guys that works for us, he shoots the High Line.
Yep, and that's those guys that
He's
are
32 and a half or 33.
If they're looking for a bow and they're over that High Line's going to be a great option, because it's going to go 29 to 34. So if you're that longer guy, but maybe string angle wise, that carbon isn't where you're looking to be, and you want to be that longer string angle, it's a 36 axle. But it allows us to get out and reach that 34-inch draw length range.
Yeah, because he's 33, I believe. And that's right. He's had that High Line you've had for a few years.
Yep, I think this is year 3 on it.
Yeah.
So,
because he's had the bow for he's year 2 going on.
Okay.
But I mean, I know he loves it, but it was a struggle for him to find that longer draw, and maybe that's something worth pointing out is that you guys do have that bow that goes out that far. There's a couple brands out there that don't.
Yep.
And so guys are settling, right? Longer D-loop or something to try to make it work.
Quite a few that stop at 31. Some might hit a 32.
Yeah.
And now you're in that situation where I'm shooting an inch long D-loop or maybe even longer, and manipulating cables, twisting them up to basically squat that or shorten that axle. because what that does is allows your cams to change rotational position.
Okay.
And now it increases my draw length because I've shortened the length of that bow. But, you know, all these manufacturers' designs, like you're designing such a small window of margin for, I call it, you know, playing around, where if you really start squatting that bow or you're manipulating string and cable lengths too much, you're really moving the sweet spot of the design and engineering principles of that bow.
Gotcha. Depending on how it, whatever the tension's pulling it one way or the other to take it out of how it was designed. Interesting.
And that's the huge benefit of having the adjustability and the customization that our new Exact Cam has is you have the 1/4-inch draw length adjustments.
Yeah.
You have 3 different let-off options. So you can run a 75, an 80, or an 85% let-off.
Jeez.
And you can actually flip the module foot and top to bottom, bottom to top.
Okay.
And you can change the feel and stiffness of your back wall. So as your mod foot contacts your cable farther from the axle of your bow, it becomes a harder back wall. If you flip it around and it contacts closer to the axle, it allows for more cushion. So you have.
Are you a hard back wall or a cushion guy? I like a more hard back wall. I think
I've been shooting our extra hard.
Okay.
I also did change to a hinge.
Okay.
So when I get back from Seven Springs, I'm going to flip it and I'm going to go to the hard wall. It's going to give me about a 1/16 of an inch room for expansion. So when I hit that click and start pushing and pulling, that 1/16 of an inch is going to basically allow my hand and that muscle in there to relax just enough. It's going to break my shot cleaner.
Oh,
so
I see.
if you're an aggressive puller but you're shooting a hinge style, I'd really say play with that hard wall. If you're running an index trigger or a thumb button,
and I'm a thumb.
Yep, and you're more of a, I call them that static shooter where I'm hitting that wall and I'm holding there and just trying to squeeze and slowly execute on a button. Those extra hard wall positions are where a lot of those guys like to be. Where someone who's an aggressive puller or a hinge style shooter, I see those
Just
guys
a little more cushion.
lean more towards that little bit of expansion. So
So I'm not a techie guy at all. I mean, at all. I just like to shoot, and that's about it. I like to shoot. So it's interesting for me as a guy who's not techie to listen to what you're talking about, and it makes me understand more, I think, why guys like to tinker.
Yep.
Because there's a lot more to it than just buying the bow. So I buy the bow or get the bow, drop it off at the shop, and down in Utah, Riley takes care of it and says, "Here you go," and we shoot it and whatever.
What do you want on it? Okay, boom, here's your build, and out the door.
And then I go shoot and sight it in, whatever. But there's a lot to it.
Yep.
I think that could be really fun. But I do like a harder back wall.
Yep.
But I am a thumb. In fact, I wasn't a thumb. I was an index for quite a while. But I was, for whatever reason, about 3 years ago, I was really struggling on shooting well, grouping well.
Just maybe floating that anchor point just a little bit.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
And so I went into the bow shop there in Nephi, and Riley, the owner of the bow shop, I said, "Hey, man, can you just critique me and tell me what the heck? I'm struggling big time." So he sits me down, and we fire off a few rounds. He's like, "Okay, we're going to do this." He shortened my draw length for one, half an inch.
Wow, okay.
And he said, "I think you're going to do better if you do blah, blah, blah," a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, biomechanically, which is the natural skeletal structure of our bodies.
Yeah.
Being able to set into that bow better where you're not overextending those joints and ligaments where we're now relying on that muscular tension.
And he even said, he's like, "It might feel a little short at first." He says, "But watching you, I think you're going to do better." So we shorten it half an inch, right? So we're shooting, and then he says, "Okay, we're done. Let's get you a thumb trigger and try to tighten up your anchor points." And so I started shooting that thumb trigger, and after a few lessons from Riley on just executing properly, I saw a change right away.
Yep.
And I've been shooting a bow for years, and then all of a sudden I'm shooting like garbage.
And there's a couple things there. One is the ability of you to go to a coach, and I think that's what a lot of guys. And whether again it's the male ego that I know we all have, right? Like I've been doing this long enough. This works for me. Dude, if you've got a good, well-known coach in your area or someone that you really trust, go spend an hour with them.
Absolutely.
Like have them look at how your hand is contacting your jawline and how your anchor is setting up. Is that string in the corner of your mouth? Is it into your cheek? Are you touching the nose to the string, or are you on the side pushing the string? You know, have them get on a ladder up above you and look at the angle of the arrow into your anchor and how you're physically setting up around that bow. And, you know, a little tweak here or there in a body position, or, you know, for me, same thing where I was shooting an index and just my groups weren't holding consistency.
Yeah.
And so what I found is going to a handheld gave me a more consistent anchor with my knuckle connection into my jawbone.
Yeah, that was one of the main things for me was my anchor being more consistent. Because I felt like it was consistent with my index, but he says every time I was getting settled in to fire, that anchor would change just a little bit, but that it was enough, because if it moved more this time, a little less this time, this direction that time, just as you go into, you know, to pull that trigger, he says that's part of your problem. And so that thumb, we played with tension releases, you know, and I'm just, man, that is not me.
It can really mess with your mindset real quick.
I tried. I said, you know what, I'm just not that guy, I guess.
Yep. And they're, in my opinion, for the hunter, they are a phenomenal training tool on how to shoot even an index trigger properly with back tension, you know. And back tension to me is not necessarily a style of release.
Right.
Okay? Back tension is a muscular dynamic movement for shot execution. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to align shoulder, elbow, down into wrist, pressing bone to bone through that grip of the bow. And then when I anchor, I'm setting that elbow so my back elbow and the wrist is in a straight vertical alignment, and I'm literally trying to either pull that elbow straight back and basically pull my bow in two, or with my hinge, what works for me is I'm trying to think elbow behind my head. So I'm increasing my scapular rotation, so moving my elbow behind my head by tightening how my scapula is pulling towards my spine.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll just tell you this. I tried for a while, and patience got the best of me. Because it takes a minute.
Yep. And it's, if you run a true tension style release, which is where you set the release to break the shot or to release the shot at a set amount of weight or added tension past your holding weight. So let's say, for numbers, if my holding weight of my bow is 15 pounds, then I would set that release to fire at, let's say, 20. I want to pull 5 pounds of added weight, which is a very, very aggressive pull. But it teaches your body how it's supposed to feel. And as you get comfortable with it, you can now train that release down where it's, okay, anchor, release the safety, pull, here's 2 pounds, boom, the shot breaks.
Got it.
So, and that's
you would want to, when you start, you're saying most people, when they're learning this, probably start a little more aggressive
start heavy on that weight.
And then we'll, almost with just like rifle shooting, you're not, you know, you can have a 2 pound trigger, 4 pound or whatever, but
make yourself, force your body to realize the weight is there and to continue to execute a shot.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that true tension style, that's what Dudley's using with that, the silverback. So you hold that thumb button, which is the safety mechanism. You anchor in, and then you drop that thumb, and that releases the internal safety. And all you're doing is staring at your target, pushing forward, and pulling that bow in two. And when you have applied the set amount of force that you have set your release at, shot breaks.
Yeah. And you get the surprise.
And if you try to make that sucker go, it's going to go very, very bad. Yeah. So it just teaches a nice, smooth shot execution. And
come on!
And I was shooting earlier today, and at full draw, and hit my click and started pulling a little bit, and then we got a gust of wind from the side, and I went all the way off the target and came all the way back on. I'm like, let's just go ahead and let this one down for a minute.
Yeah, so even on that thumb trigger, I was shooting a Hamsky. No. Sorry, that was it was a Stan.
Oh, okay. Yep.
A Stan.
Super comfortable.
Very comfortable. I've shot the Stan and the UV button, Both are actually pretty comfortable. The UV is real heavy in the hand, but there's something about it that I really like how that feels when you do that. But when I started with the thumb, even that was hard for me to get figured out.
Because as soon as you touch it, you want to go on it.
Well, and that thumb, you do want to do some tension, right?
Yep.
Because as you pull, your hand closes on it.
Yep.
But I struggled.
Yeah, and the big thing with the thumb that I talk to guys about when I'm trying to teach or coach through a session with that is you want a big wrap with that thumb around the button. You don't just want to be touching it with the pad.
Okay.
And you literally just act like you're shaking someone's hand. I want to maintain tension, so I'm pushing the bow towards the target, pulling that hand away, and you at the same time are just real slowly, like there's a stress ball or you're shaking a hand. It's just a nice, smooth, fluid motion of closing that hand down around
Some of that hand closure, though, is natural. As you're putting more and more tension, your hand closes, because that's what I was dealing with, is I'd close and I'd be like, dang it.
Yep.
I had to be very conscious about where my thumb was on that trigger, because I would set it off too early.
Yep, because as you pull harder and apply pressure, like you said, you start activating certain muscles in that forearm, and they naturally cause those fingers to curl or squeeze and apply pressure, and then your shot breaks.
Yeah. Huh. Well, here we are sitting down with Hoyt, and we're talking releases and proper form, and although that's really all part of it, because in order to enjoy whatever the manufacturer bow of your choice, well, still helps know how to shoot.
Yep, 100%.
So
100%.
And I'm with you. Like, you know, I shot for years and years and years, and then I go see Riley, who I really, the guy he's a phenomenal bow tech, but also he doesn't sugarcoat anything, right?
Yep.
It's like, I'm gonna make it to where you can shoot.
Yeah.
And so it was nice to go in there and have somebody just break it all down for me and help me be a better shooter. So it was awesome.
Yep.
And then I went out and hunted Greenland, killed muskox, so it was perfect.
Nice. Did Alan guide you on that one? Did he return the favor for you?
No. That was his name was Ling.
Nice.
He's a guy out of Greenland. Good dude. He did tell me that we had to work out a deal with bow hunting with him. Is if I didn't make a good shot, then he would just shoot it.
That rifle was coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's.
But I was all right with that.
A lot of those guys that aren't used to working with archers, like it can be a hard conversation as to, hey, you know, this might take 2 shots, or you know, whatever that conversation is, because they're not used to that kind of hunting and that style, and so a lot of guys I've talked to, they've had that experience is, hey, we're just sitting down ahead of time, we're having a conversation.
Yes, and it's best to have it before.
Yep.
Well, we had the conversation, and I'm totally fine with it. Mm-hmm. I've guided a lot, so I get it. I get the concern. And so I shot. It looked good. I looked back at him, and he just gave me a thumbs up. So
perfect.
So I was like, all right, sweet. But I totally understand that. But that was the first time I had after Riley had kind of put me through the motions and helped me, because that's why I really wanted to take it. I missed out on this is when I was going on a moose hunt in Alaska, and my groups were horrible. I just didn't. I mean, I could have killed a moose if I was within range, close.
Was that the hunt that we talked about with your son and
no, it was before that.
Before that hunt.
Yeah,
okay.
And that's when I was like, this is stupid. So I ended up hunting my moose with a rifle. I didn't even take my bow. My wife's like, you should at least take it, because you may get close. Turns out I walked in on him. Mm-hmm. He was bedded down in this creek, and I was up above it, sneaking along the edge, and we started calling, and he popped up at 62 yards. Well, a moose at 62 yards, you could close your eyes and hit the vitals, I feel like.
Yeah,
it's very
big animal.
And so, but I didn't take it because I was not confident shooting.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so back to Hoyt. So if people are done, they've already got their gear, which you're kind of flow into. When's your heavy buying time for each year's bow? Is that now, or is it a month ago, or is it?
It kind of fluctuates.
Does it really?
Yeah, and right now I'd say we're in what I would consider more of our slow sales part of the year, because let's be honest, I mean, a predominant part of our market is whitetail, obviously, and where most whitetail hunted. Well, down south, and it is golf and bass season.
Yep.
So there's a pretty big window here where those kind of slow down, and we can focus more on what's going on with shows and events like this. And I'd say, especially for the Western market, that 4th of July weekend is kind of something that kicks it over.
Really?
Because guys forgot they put in for this tag or that tag, or all of a sudden it's 4th of July weekend is on you, and man, I've been meaning to do this or meaning to do that, or I haven't gotten this or that done with their gear, and it's just seems to be that weekend where they kind of realize, oh, season is a whole
by
lot
July
closer
4th,
than
it's
we
around
realize.
the corner.
Yeah,
You'd think you'd be set up and firing away already.
No, and us being Western, we're more used to that. 4th of July comes around, we're looking at, was it the 16th this year, 17th?
Yeah, you're 5 weeks out from a hunt.
Yep. So
I guess that's true, because back in the Midwest and East, you're more in that September, October range before things really fire up.
Yep.
So
we'll see a increase in sales. That little bit of time frame right after the 4th of July, and then honestly that middle December through first part of May.
Yeah.
Kind of again, we call it tax season, right?
Yeah.
Your guys are getting refunds back and
ready to get on the mountain.
Trying to pull a little bit away from the household stash that is coming back from the government. So
Yeah.
But
That's cool. So when it comes to, I mean, there are so many good options on bows out there, as you know, and we have I would say the majority of the brands attend Total Archery Challenge. What is it about Hoyt? Just it's sales pitch time, right? Like Hoyt.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to say we're better than this company or that company. I want you to kind of give us a rundown on Hoyt is what and why, not necessarily we don't even need to bring anyone else in, but if I'm going to pick between 5, why am I going to choose Hoyt? What's it got going for it?
From an engineering standpoint, because I really do believe that we set ourselves apart in the engineering, in the design, in the testing, in the safety protocols that we've put into our product. And that goes down to our 1,500 dry fires and our 1,000,000 cycles. If a bow's not going to pass that, if its design and engineering isn't going to hit those numbers, we're never going to bring it to market. Because that's not only a safety concern for us, but it's a consumer experience. Right?
Yep. Yep.
You go taking a tumble down. Let's take the Georgia event, for example.
Yeah.
That red clay down there, if you've never been to the South, when that stuff gets wet, it gets slick and
nasty,
mucky, and you can have the best boots on in the world, and you step wrong, and you are running down the mountain.
Yes.
And it's just one, we know that you could fall down a boulder field out hunting elk or Dall sheep and come down hard on your bow and your cam, and, we don't have any concerns whatsoever. That you can bounce off a rock and you're not going to taco your cam. We engineer and design it to take a pounding and take a brutal bash here and there and work.
I had I was on a hunt in Utah. I drew a mountain goat tag, and I hunted with my bow, and we got about 8 inches of snow, and I slipped, and when I fell, I bounced my cam off the rock, and it ended up. The cam ended up curling into the string.
Yep.
And so...
And that either pinches in and
I was too nervous.
Let it out of the
I didn't even try.
I
just left it, grabbed a rifle, and hunted 9 days with my bow and about 3.5 hours with a rifle. But I was too nervous to even try to do it. So
and we've been there, right? We've been through those experiences with our consumers. Our marketing team, our engineering team, we were archers and bow hunters before we were ever working for a bow company.
Yeah.
We've got roughly 20 engineers. Our marketing department, I think we're at 7 people right now. And between those roughly 30 individuals, there was 8. There was 8 of us that worked either through college or before we got to Hoyt in pro shops.
Yeah.
You know, engineers working in a pro shop, getting through college and getting their engineering degree.
Yeah.
I took a little bit longer route to do it and ended up with the marketing department. But, you know, we were passionate bow hunters before we got to where we're at right now. And so we've had those experiences, and we know what we expect out of our equipment and what we can do with it.
Yeah.
And so we're going to build something that we trust taking on our own trips.
Yes.
So,
well, I'll tell you this. It may have been Alan, but I'm not 100% sure. We were on a hunt in Montana. I was guiding. He was an archery hunter. I'm just thinking it was Alan or his brother Dave. Or we ran over his bow.
Oh.
I mean, ran it over. Like we were setting
shooting
up.
in camp, or
no, we were glassing or something, and it was left laying against the truck tire as we were doing whatever, and we drove off and ran it over. Now, granted, it was in, some softer sand, dirt, whatever, and but, I mean, we ran over and when it fell, we ran over the top of the limb and across the riser.
Right at that pocket connection.
Yeah. But you guess what?
Perfectly fine.
They checked it out as best they could and still hunted with it, and were successful in the hunt. So
That's awesome.
I was blown away, and I feel like there's a story of Kevin Wilkie running over a bow.
So the original 2010 Carbon Matrix that released, and it would have been. It was 2 to 3 months after the launch because obviously, come to the market with the Carbon hadn't been done in a while. And the previous company that tried to play there did not do a real good job with it, and it put a sour taste in a lot of consumers' mouths. So they, Jeremy, Mike, Zach, Randy, Kevin Wilkie, and a couple other engineers grabbed one of the lifted trucks out of the parking lot that belonged to an engineer, and they all went out with Carbon bows and stuck a Dodge truck, I'm pretty sure it was a Dodge, up on 4 bows. Literally just holding up by 4 Carbon bows, ground the tires into the concrete and the pavement, did a burnout on it, shot him out the back end of the truck.
That's right.
And then Wilkie literally picked one up, put his sight back on, put his rest back on, and 20 yards, shoots an inside-out X on a NFAA face. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
So we've got a guy down, I think he's out of New Hampshire. I was talking to him earlier this morning, and he took a brand new RX-8 Ultra and did the exact same test with it.
Wow.
And he's like, he goes, I ground it under my tires. I ground it so hard into the concrete, I shaved the lip of the shelf off.
Oh, wow.
Picked it up and was shooting arrows with it at 20 and just knotting them up. Wow. I'm like, we've done that test. We already proved it.
Yeah, I know. That's what would scare me, though, in that Carbon is I feel like you get grinding too hard. You take off that coating that's on there, and you start creating some peel or whatever it is you use, the mesh or
and you can. The unique thing with how we do it is hand layered, so we can create a specific amount of flex pattern to that riser based on the limb and cam system for a given reaction.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
so if you toy with it, if you were to take that and you layered it differently one way than the other, it would act different.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Riser. So as you come to full draw, you're loading that riser up, right? You're increasing the amount of torque and load on it.
Yep.
And so we're designing that riser that this cam produces this kind of reaction. So we are setting up and layering those risers to work in conjunction or combination with the way that cam and limb system is. And the biggest issue I've seen is guys that have a release slip out of their hands because they're shooting a handheld that's not attached and sends the release into the riser and there's quite a few replaced risers I've seen.
I'll tell you this, my hand release is attached.
Yep.
Like I'm more concerned about losing it than I am anything else. So I've got a wrist strap and I attached my handheld to that.
Yep. I dropped one out of a tree stand, the first handheld I had. And I was like, you know what? This sucker is a little too valuable to be just floating around or dropping out of a pocket. Or
we have a bunch through every summer. We get a ton returned to us. Now, some of those guys come back and get them picked up. Like we've had 4 here in Vermont. Guys have dropped at some point or another, and they've come and collected them.
Well,
Luckily, there's everybody out there, not everyone, but the majority of the people here are honest and will return it, because some of these are $300.
Yeah. Well, and a guy fell on the
releases.
course, was it yesterday, I think? Was coming down a chute, and his heel slipped out on a rock, and he fell down and saved his bow. And, guys, I don't know where my release is at. It's like, that's good reason we have a wrist strap for some of those. Even with a 550 paracord or something.
That's all
attached
mine
to
is
it,
paracord.
Yeah.
Or even you could, what's that, like the D-loop?
The D-loop material. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I've got a 24 material loop on mine. And the other thing for me in the backcountry is, if something happens, I have that cord off my release.
Yeah.
I can redo a D-loop, or I can, if I'm shooting a limb driven, sometimes I've got enough cord, I've got a spare cord to run to a limb driven rest.
Yeah,
so,
there you go.
So, multiple uses for whatever you take with you.
Yeah. Well, it's worth it to have that. So going back to Hoyt, we digress as we talk into this. Some of that's driven by me because you're a very techie guy, and so I like diving in on that. But if you had one thing you were going to say about Hoyt to everyone out there, because I really do strongly believe that I've shot a lot of these bows, and they all do feel different, every one of them. And so I think it is important that people get out there and, the bow speaks to them, find the one that is most comfortable in your hand. But give us the rundown, man. What about it? What's Hoyt? What do you like? What don't you like? Whatever.
Honestly,
what's your favorite?
Right now, like I'm a longer axle guy.
Okay.
I like the 33, 34. How we've engineered and designed our cam system with our 3 base modules.
Yeah.
More and more events like this, guys are realizing that I can shoot a 33 or 34 axle to axle, and I'm getting better accuracy and consistency at even moderate to long distances, and it's really not that big of a deterrent when it comes to getting in a tree stand or getting in that ground blind. When guys, in my opinion, are looking for speed and performance and efficiency of a bow, look at where your draw length puts you in each different module. So if you are a 27-inch draw length, okay, where does that put me in the Ultra? Where does that put me in the 33? Where does that put me in the 30s? Because if you're on the bottom side of a module, you're going to get such a smooth draw cycle. Like, it's going to feel like it's almost 20 pounds lighter because it is at that minimum draw length range in that module.
Gotcha.
But because of where you're at, you are sacrificing some speed and efficiencies versus if I went to a different model, my performance is increased because it puts me on the top side of that module. And that's another reason I lean towards the 33 is I'm on the upper end of that draw length module. And so I get the better string angle. I get the comfortable axle to axle. I like more mass weight around my hand. I mean, I'm adding 16 ounces just in stabilizer for weights, for balance. So I like having that mass weight in my hand, especially in the wind, so I don't get blown around as much.
So on that, on your modules, if you're on the upper end of what that module allows, that's the better efficiency?
Yep.
The higher end?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And again, that very, very top position, so the longest draw length and the next half inch down is where I try to keep guys.
Okay.
So, yeah. And
that's
interesting.
interesting.
And now we have a number 1, a number 2, and a number 3 base. And each one of those, they're going to change depending on what bow they're on.
Yeah.
But now we have the 1/4 inch draw length adjustments, so we can fine tune each one of those 3 modules to be the most efficient. So if you have a draw length that puts you in a number 1 module, I'm going to get you 6 to 8 feet per second better speed because I've been able to take 3 inches of adjustment from this module and cut it in half, and now you have your own module that we can now fine tune and engineer specifically for this draw length range.
Yeah. Wow. That's cool. So that's what I'm saying. These are the things that maybe the guy I'm buying from knows, and so he sets it up that way, but I don't know. And there's a lot to learn. There's a lot of variables
And when you're going in to look at
perfecting your bow.
Yeah, and when you're looking at purchasing, pay attention to the questions the techs are asking you too. Because are you a short guy or are you a long guy? Or is it, okay, what's your draw length? Because to me, if I'm, and I'll stop into different pro shops as I'm out and traveling around and act like a consumer, because let's be honest, sometimes it's nice to just go and drop in and not wear all the Hoyt apparel and just get to know shops and techs and see what they're doing and see what their approach is. And if that's one of the first questions I get asked before testing bows, well, what's your draw length? Okay. This guy's gonna have the pitch. He's gonna understand the importance of draw length, range, and the module positions. So nice.
I talk to a lot of shop guys. We have a lot that attend these events and stuff, but again, the understanding all the ins and outs of what these bows can do and how you can modify that to end up being, because off the shelf, you grab a bow off the shelf, you're the kind of guy that's taking it home and you're tweaking it a lot.
I am, quite a bit.
And I think that's pretty cool that's something that I probably need to toy with a little more, to just fine tune that bow more and more and more to get it to where it's my bow. Not just a bow that, I can shoot, but it's my bow.
Yep. And again, having such versatility in the adjustments of a bow without the use of a press is one good reason. The other thing, so I'm shooting a bow right now. My 33 is just a little bit over 80 pounds.
Jeez, gorilla.
And I'm shooting the 80% let off because I want the holding weight.
Yeah.
Now, when I go to hunt this fall, I don't want to be in a tree stand in Kansas in November or even late season December pulling that kind of weight. But I know what I want for my holding weight. So I can run a lighter weight limb and bump back down to 75% so I hold more weight.
So what do you hunt with? Poundage?
I traditionally am usually around 72, 73 pounds.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have shoulder issues. And so I typically am in that 63 to 65. For whatever reason, that difference of going to 70, 72 pounds when it burns my shoulders out quick. Just that few pounds, I don't understand it.
So you haven't shot our new ones then?
I have not.
Okay.
No, I haven't.
And for those of you listening, I picked up on that immediately because our bows are so smooth, you no longer feel that little bit of a difference.
Interesting, because mine, man, I don't know what it is, because I've gone through multiple bows over the years, and I still am like, I want to get it cranked up, but it just
our most
destroys
popular,
my shoulder.
Our most popular bow at all the tacks so far has been an Alpha 33 we have that I scaled at 84 pounds.
No way.
And our whole thing this year was again the smoothness of the draw cycle. So we've had numbers of guys say this 70-pound bow does not feel like 70, it feels like 60.
Ooh.
And we heard that so many times that we actually changed our marketing message this year. And it is 70 feels like 60.
Really?
Yep.
I will have to try that because, I do sacrifice some for every pound you go down, right? You're sacrificing a little bit of speed there or whatever, but I was just getting hammered and I like shooting just like you do. And I couldn't go. I wouldn't even be able to do a full course probably.
Yeah.
That little bit of difference.
Is it an impingement in the shoulder or have we had a tear? Or?
It is torn.
Okay.
And but not enough.
To warrant.
Correct.
Yeah.
They're like, look, and it's in both.
Oh, awesome.
And so they're like, you could go in and get it fixed, but we would say not until you can't handle it.
Yeah.
And it's been at that stage for years, right?
Yeah.
So it is a tear, but for whatever reason, when I drop it down that much, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like that's just enough to not hurt.
To make sure that you have less pain or no pain.
So
at all.
I will have to. I will do that. I haven't even shot over there at your guys' booth at all.
But
I
you
need to.
did know that we had the targets, right?
Huh?
You did know we had targets, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and I laugh. A lot of guys don't. So if you're at any of the tacks the rest of the summer,
You're talking to demo the bow.
Yeah, we've got the trailer and we've got a target in the back. So come over and we've got lefties, we've got righties, we've got everything we need to hit every bow and every draw length range. So
Yeah, and
come
they need
over and
to.
test them out.
You need to. We've got at our event typically we'll have PSE, Prime, Bear, Elite, Bowtech, Hoyt.
Yep.
Matthews, I would say, is one of the only majors that's not
here.
Not here, and they do come to one or two. But my point in saying that is, you could demo
A lot
of bows while you're here,
Yep. Now,
and you're in shooting mode.
we are the only company that has a trailer. with
That's
targets
true,
that allows you. So,
But PSE,
you know,
you can see them; they're demoing right now, and
Yep,
Bear
yep,
does
they
too
brought-
at the range.
now, yep.
So, and Prime brings their trailer, I think, to 4 events.
Okay.
But I guarantee you, if somebody grabbed a Prime and said, I want to demo this, you could. And I think it's worth it
Yep.
to see. I mean, I know talking to Alan, because he's shot a lot of different bows too, and he is 100% Hoyt.
Absolutely.
And has been for as long as I've known him. But every year he's like, no, I need to test some of these other bows so I know what.
Yep. And it really helps with him being our host to be able to talk to what other manufacturers have out there. And
Yeah.
I've tested them.
Because I
I
shoot
know
that
what I
Mach
like.
34. I like it.
Yeah.
But again, I'm just the normal guy that likes to hunt and shoot a
And-
bow.
yep.
I am not a guy like you or Alan, and there's a lot of these techie guys, and I think more and more guys are getting into it, learning that how fine-tuned you can get a bow to fit you perfectly. And so it makes sense that the more tunability you have, or adjustable ability maybe, to make it more personal to you, the better.
Right. 100%.
So
The more in tune you and your bow are, as far as even the customization of making it fit you,
yeah,
the better experience you're going to have, which means the more you're going to want to shoot it, the better accuracy you're going to have, and the more efficient hunter you're going to be.
yeah,
It equates to more meat in your freezer at the end of the year.
that's right. Or more foam, less rocks.
Yep.
So tell me this: what accessories are on this bow of yours?
So I'm running the current one because I went from Oklahoma up to my folks in Kansas and did some bird hunting before the San Antonio event. So I've got a shorter 4-inch stabilizer on, and
Okay.
I've added 6 ounces of tungsten weight to the
And
end of
what stabilizer?
it. That one I've got the AAE Mountain Series on.
Mountain Series. Okay.
Yep. And then I've got a 10-inch Mountain Series back bar that I've added 10 ounces onto.
Wow.
And then I'm running the...
I mean, that's a pound you've added.
It's a full pound just in weights on stabilizers.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
I run the AAE Prophecy for a rest.
Okay. I don't know that rest.
So it is a cable, not a limb-driven rest.
Okay.
Lockable vertical mechanism. Very, very similar to the QAD without having the integrate system on it.
Okay.
And then I typically prefer a 2-piece quiver. I've got a 4-arrow on right now, and because of the dynamics of how the arrows mount and how tight I can get that quiver versus my rest position,
Okay.
I can only get the back 3 in, so I'll end up going to a
I
6
see.
arrow, pulling that closest to the riser out, and then running it as a 5.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then I'm running an UltraView slider sight,
Okay.
So-
The new one.
the new one. Yep.
How have you liked that?
I love it.
Yeah.
I really do.
Well, I think that means a lot for what you do and what you're able to. You have access to everything. You can shoot whatever you want, and you're you're a techie guy. I heard there's a lot of good adjustability in that.
There is, and it's very clean and it's very simple.
Yeah.
I mean, second and third axis adjustments. You've got a micro dial on it. So you loosen, like for a second, you would loosen both of your second axis screws, and then you can fine tune that second and then tighten them both up. And it has a set position. Once you go to tighten everything back up, it doesn't just slip and slide on you. And now you've got to figure out where I was at and things like that. So very, very clean on that.
That's cool.
The cartridge system is unique to what they've got going on. So if you haven't played with that, they have a rear cartridge that houses your pins.
Yep.
And you can run a single vertical. You can run a single vertical with a second drilled, so a dual pin. They've got a 3-pin version, which is
that's more my style.
Yeah, you've got that one vertical post. The downside is none of the 3 are adjustable, so they are set 1/4 inch.
Right, so you might be
them.
20, 35, 48.
50, 53,
53,
yeah, something
whatever.
weird, right?
Right.
But again, it's just moving indicators to match those up and
Yep.
make them work for you. And those are all available in either a 19 or a 10 thousandths option. And then you have the hunting cartridge, which is a horizontal 3-pin. And those 3 are all a 15 thousandths pin, which I really like.
Really?
And then they have what they call the bonus pin, or I call it the flinger. And it's just a 10 thousandths machined post that comes out right above your bubble. So instead of having to use your level as an indicator, you actually physically have a pin down there, and it's a 10 thousandth fiber.
Too small for me.
So that's the unique thing about the UltraView is it has a light kit. So you can turn your light on. You got 10 stages versus a
3
standard
or whatever.
rheostat 3. Yep.
Yeah, so, but there's a lot of states you hunt in that's not even allowed.
Yep. So
Is it allowed in Utah? A light?
lights are in Utah, but they're not in Colorado.
Or Montana.
Yep.
Or Idaho even.
Or Idaho. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But you can undo the set screw on the front part of that housing, and that's your light cartridge. You can pull that out, and they've got a replacement that is just a ring. So now you have a high vis ring or high visibility.
So
ring
if you were hunting those western states, it's literally 2 seconds and you're legal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Put a set screw in, pull. And when you pull that light cartridge out, you're not touching anything with the pins.
Right.
You're just pulling the electronic mechanism out and replacing that with whatever color housing you want.
Yeah.
And that's just giving you your alignment tool for your peep sight.
Those guys do a good job over there at UltraView.
Yep.
They do some cool things. Now, Hoyt has its own brand, right? Is Fuse Hoyt's?
Fuse is under our umbrella. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So we've got a Picatinny sight. It's a 5-pin. We don't have an adjustable or a slider sight in that family anymore.
You did have it, and you just got rid of it, or
We had one on the standard side mount, but when we went to the Picatinny, because of the distance of the second axis adjustment, it was different than the fixed pin housing by like a 1/16 of an inch, and they weren't pairing up, and so they didn't want to have 2 brackets. So we discontinued the slider sights and just went with the fixed option.
okay?
And then we have a 4 and we have a 5 arrow quiver design, and it's in a short, like a 8-inch distance, and then you have it also as a 14-inch distance.
Okay.
Called the Alpha Light series, and then we have a stabilizer as well, and it's a 6, 8, and 10-inch option.
Yeah. Have you used those?
I haven't. A little bit thicker carbon design.
Yeah, it is.
And well, and I shouldn't say that.
Alan's used
I
it
have.
before.
I shot the original Fuse Torch series.
Okay. You mean a while ago?
The last one I had would have been 2017. So if you guys are up on YouTube and you've seen the video of the mule deer that jumps the fence on film with the decoy, that was my Kansas hunt with my brother in 2017.
That's cool.
And I had Fuse torches on there, and even that setup. So that was an RX-1, the original Redworks carbon that we released, and that was an 8-inch front bar, and I had 7 ounces on it, and I had a 10-inch back bar. I think I had 12 ounces on it.
Jeez.
For added weight. So
You're hardcore.
Dude, my brother made fun of me so hard. We got to that spot, and I dumped the tailgate of the truck, and I had changed my clothes in the truck because I had just gotten into the state at 5 o'clock that morning.
Yeah.
And changed in the truck going to this spot. Pull my bow out, and I'm trying to put it together, and arrows don't even have broadheads on them, and he's sitting there tapping his foot ready to go. And I finally start putting my stabilizers on and just started cussing like a sailor. He's like, "Are you effing kidding me? What are those, and why do you have so much weight on there?" And we literally walked 200 yards down this fence line, see that deer, hit him with a grunt, and he comes and jumps the fence at 36 yards. And
Oh, wow.
literally, it was a 12-minute hunt. And he goes, "See, you didn't even need all that." So,
Well, you wouldn't have executed such a good shot if you didn't have all your weight you're used to shooting.
That's right.
So I've never really gotten into that side, and I need to. I think when tour's over and we settle down after the hunting season, then I'm going to come pay you a visit.
Yeah.
And toy with some of that and just see if it changes my how well I shoot.
Yeah. And I think
I
we
don't
should,
even
because
know like how to decide what. You just start throwing weight on. You're like, I like it I like it heavier in the back, or I just.
Yep.
I was talking to some guys yesterday who compete, and we were kind of talking, why they chose this or do that, and it's pretty interesting. They like the down.
Yep.
They liked it heavier in front.
Yep.
But he had like a 40-inch
Yeah.
stabilizer and like a 15 or
15 and
18-inch
stuff. Yep.
back bar. And
Yep. And there's more and more guys on that target side specifically. They're running, 27 to 33-inch front stabilizers, 10 to 15-inch back bars.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, a lot of the guys I know, especially on the paper, the dot side of it, they're running 15 to 18 ounces up front.
Jeez.
And 20 to 26 ounces on the back. And it's just
no wonder they let down so much.
and have shoulder
get
issues
tired.
later on. And, yeah. Or again, it's one of those, I'm getting into it so hard that shot is breaking so quick. It's draw, anchor, nose, pop.
Yeah.
And it's 3 seconds on target, and that shot is executed.
That's awesome.
They're also
those guys compete a lot.
Yep, and
Who I was talking to.
hitting dime-sized targets and
Right.
pretty much whatever distance you want to put them at.
Yeah, no, that's true. Because they shot the Jack Links course, and they all said they shot really well. And I know some of those shots were not easy.
Yeah.
So I guess there's something to be said there. I've never ever toyed it with it at all.
Now,
So,
this event, is there 6 courses? Or is
here in Vermont, there's only 4.
4 courses? Because it is dependent on the course and availability. Because I think Brighton and Solitude has got 7, 8.
This year it only has 6.
Okay,
Forest Service had us cut back 25%.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
so there's 6 courses now. Pennsylvania has 8.
Okay, at,
Yeah.
at Seven Springs.
Yep, Seven Springs has 8. Yeah,
So-
for sure.
So when guys are looking at that, you've got 7 different courses. How are they looking at when it comes to judging difficulties, either distance or terrain? So like if a guy just hears, "Oh, I'm shooting Jack Links,"
Yeah, so it's all done by, I would say, Prime and Sitka typically, no matter what mountain we go to, are going to have Prime, Sitka, Knock On.
Mm-hmm.
Even Hoyt would be there, but it would be Prime, Sitka, Knock On are the 3 that if we go to a new mountain, the more difficult angled terrain
Okay.
will be one of those.
So it's not necessarily based on distance.
It is if the mountain's the same.
Yeah.
Which happens, right?
Yeah, but more higher levels of technical shooting on those courses.
On the more advanced, and then you have the Ultra View, which we will try to do more technical shots. It's a 15 target course, so it's going to be a shorter course. So we'll do more technical shots, but typically angles of technicality are going to lean towards Sitka, Knock On, Prime if the mountain allows just that amount of space. Okay. And then distance would be the other one, where Prime, Sitka, Knock On are all similar in distance, and then Hoyt has a distance out to 75, 85 yards, and then the others will go, from out to 60, let's say.
Because I think Loophole is one of the
goes to 60
lightest, in quotes,
Yes.
lightest distance.
Lightest distance, and if
for
the mountain
average.
allows, it'll be the lightest hiking too.
Okay.
As far as difficulty of hiking, but if the mountain's the same, across the board, then it's going to be just distance.
Yeah.
Yep. So
And
that's how it's separated.
And when they go to register, that list is
Yeah,
there,
it's on
so
our
they can
website.
see that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so typically you're going to get shots 40 to 100 yards plus, 100 yards plus on those 3.
okay.
And then, but yes, it's on our website. Describes, hey, these are what the courses are typically, and like even here, Prime and Sitka is twice the hike
Right.
that Loophole and Jack Links are, and it also has a lot more angle to it
Okay.
than Jack Links and Loophole.
Right.
So, and that's typically how it lays out. So, but all that's on our website, yeah. And then of course, when they register, I mean, sometimes people are just grabbing what they can grab, and it is what it is. So, all right, man. Well, I appreciate you being out here, and we're super grateful to have Hoyt on the tour as always. And for everybody out there, get over to their booth, test out their bows, say hi to Evan, have him coach you on a few things. Heck, they could probably ask you to watch them shoot too, huh?
I'd be around.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, so
Again,
if you've got questions on how things are going, then these are the guys to talk to, especially where you said you all come from a shop background, engineering background, and, of course, now you're all in the archery world, so you get it.
Yep.
So no better resource for information. So stop by there, talk to Evan, and he'll get you dialed on finding the right bow for you and how to shoot better maybe, huh?
Yeah, buddy. I'm here for you guys.
All right,
Come
perfect.
see us.
All right, thanks for coming out. We'll
Yeah.
catch everyone on the next one.
Appreciate it, sir.